crazy. Good morning, everyone. It is social media breakfast time. Ha. And I have Phil in the house. Hey, Phil, how are you?
What's up? I'm great, Cami. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. I'm so glad to see you in your
Yeah,
orange glory. Is
thank
your
you.
orange clashing with our red or no?
Nah, I think it goes nicely. It's a nice blend.
Great. Well, I see the eyeballs coming, so that's great. Hey, guys, let us know you're here in the comments. We're going to be talking today about sales. Ugh, sales. So I have to tell you, I'm just going to admit this, that I thought I was terrible at sales. Like I was scared of it. I didn't really like to sell. I feel like I've grown up a lot since then. I should have brought my little book over here, but the Little Red Book of Selling changed my whole life. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. So,
Jeffrey Gitomer. Yeah,
yep, Jeffrey Gitomer. And so I wanted to have you on because you're amazing at this. You're good at like creating relationships, and you've written books about it, and you're really a true expert in this area. And so I'm really glad. Thank you so much for joining us today. Um,
sure.
so let's just got it. How did you get into sales? Let's talk a little bit about like why sales.
Well, so I really thought that I wasn't a salesperson for a very long time. I want to be really clear. I didn't discover I was really into sales probably honestly until maybe the last 10 years. And I'm older than I probably look. I mean, I'm not trying to say that I look young or old, but most people think I'm in my 30s. I'm actually 47. And so I thought I was an IT guy when I started
Mm,
20 some years ago. I was a VP of IT, and I didn't think, I worked with financial advisors, and I was like, well, I don't sell because that's what they do, right?
yeah, I know.
I'm like, no. And then I realized what I discovered is that really relationships is what sales is, and making offers, right? Asking, well, does it make sense if, and things like that. And once I discovered that, it really kind of changed my brain for sales. And that's, that's what I help the folks that I work with discover is that it is, it's all about relationship. It's all about conversation. It's all about making an offer. And does this make sense to, it's not about forcing anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think that that is like the key to like, especially for people who are afraid of sales, and also people who are trying to sell. So talk about this a little bit. There's like sort of like this whole spectrum, like the people that would rather go for public speaking than sell something, right? And then the people that are like, oh yeah, I'm selling all the time. So can you kind of tell me how that, where you fall on that spectrum?
Yeah. Well, I think my answer is sometimes honestly both.
Mhm.
I don't always have something to offer, so there isn't always a sale, right? It's not always a sales conversation. Today,
Right.
my biggest offer is, right, I'd offer to connect with anyone and help you discover, where I am on LinkedIn and how I can help you with that. But most of the time, what I've discovered is that when I'm really just having conversations and really
Mhm.
talking to people and really curious about them, I learn things that I wouldn't otherwise know. And by doing that, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 10 years, maybe one day I'll have the right to ask for a more businessy conversation that leads to a sale. Now, sometimes it's right away. I can tell you, I do
Mhm.
sales calls, right,
Mhm.
all day long. I'm a sales guy. That's what I do. But it starts out with rapport building, much like we started out this conversation today, Cami. And so I fall all over the spectrum. It depends where I am. I start trying to break the ice. I find discovery questions and
Mhm.
ask. I get really curious from there. Then I demonstrate my value. And from there, then I ask if it makes sense to take a next step. That's 4 steps. That's really not hard. That's not salesy. And yet I would tell you, that's where I am. And I'm always doing that, right? I'm always asking questions because I am curious. If I can help you, what kind of a schmuck would I be if I didn't say, hey, Cami, I can help you, right? You'd be like, come on, dude, I want help. I
Right.
want, right?
I think that's the thing that people don't realize is that people want your help. And if you don't have something to offer, it's really awkward. So that's actually where I came to start creating little products and stuff. So I have an agency and I just sell packages where we actually done for you social media. And for me, that's always been a little bit easier because I'm like, I'm doing all this work for you, so I'm able to say, hey, you have to pay for that. But what about all of the other people that you are connecting with on social media? So I wanted to start from the beginning. You had your 4-part process. We'll come back to that in a minute because I want you to outline that in detail, your 4-part process. But first, how do you use social media to start that conversation?
Well, it starts by listening. Really easy. You have to listen. And even I would say before that, even you have to find who you want to talk to. Like there's multiple people to talk to, certainly friends, family, of course, right? We use that, but also peers and competitors. Yes, I did say competitors, right? We should connect with them. We should see what they're doing. And then it's prospects and people who we might be able to help and people who might be able to help us. We start with there, and then previous customers, previous coworkers, current customers, current coworkers. We should connect with them. So as we start here, we have to start by identifying like who is our target? What are we trying to do here? So that we can discover what they're doing on social themselves. Because the hardest thing about social is, let's say you and I are connected and you never post anything. Well, it's like if we go to a networking event and you just sit there in the corner. How am I going to talk to you? Like I can try, and if you're super outgoing, that could work. But I'll tell you, even me, who is Captain E extrovert, if I don't find something in common about us, it's very hard to break the ice and to go through there. And that's okay, right? You don't have to talk to everybody. You don't have to connect with everybody. You don't have to converse with everyone, but it starts there. Who is my ideal target? Why am I connecting? Again, I'm different. I might have different conversations with different people. I would consider you a peer of mine, Cammie. I would not connect, and possibly, possibly I could say maybe competition. Though if you focus in Houston, I focus in Orlando, probably not. But let's say we are. We talk about those sorts of things, but very different than a conversation I might have with someone that I'd like to do business with. And I have to be aware of that, right? I have to know in my brain, where does Cammie fit? So that when I'm talking with her, I try to frame that conversation in the right way, so that we can have a real conversation. Because frankly, you're not coming to me for tips unless you privately ask me like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm sure you get that too. Plenty of people, oh, what do you think about this? Even peers, competition, whatever you want to call it, they get that. So it starts there. And then let me just share the next step and then we'll go to the next question. And that is, you have to make sure that your profile looks like a resource, not a resume for your ideal target customer. Okay.
Right.
And I use those two words, one being ideal, two being target. Let's think about ideal, right? If in a perfect world, wave a magic wand, who would that be? But let's be honest, most of the time, that's about 7 people.
Yeah.
Who are we trying to work with, right? Who are we really trying to work with? That's our target. That's what we need to do. And as we look at our profile, no matter what platform we're on, we need to look like someone they want to do business with. I call it getting dressed before you get busy. I think about me this morning, right? This is not how I sit in my office all day and work. This is my uniform, much like my LinkedIn profile is my uniform, right? This is what I look like when I'm presenting. But when I'm having sales calls with prospects and referral calls with customers, I've probably got on a polo shirt and certainly glasses. Sometimes I have the headphones on, sometimes I don't. But this is how I look when I present. I got dressed, and now I'm here to work. So those are the 2 things that are important.
No, I love that. I love that. Especially like right now that we're sitting at home, like, on our computers and coming in. I love that you talk about the uniform that you put on. I mean, I'm wearing my red shirt because, today we're like social media breakfast, right? So all about red. I try to do a different red shirt every time. I've got about 4 or 5 of them. Anyway, so how do you brand yourself as you go forward in each conversation? I love that too. I also like that you talked about peers and competition, because one of the things the OGs or the people who've been around in social media a long time, we've done is, I think did right early on, is that we connected with our peers and we grew relationships with them. And we didn't see each other as competition, even though we are truly in many ways competition. And I love that mindset. I love the mindset that you aren't competing with people. Because really, in the end of the day, you're filling a certain niche in the marketplace that other people can't. So if you don't look for the niches, who is it said that the niches or the riches are in the niches? I forget. But the point is,
So many people, yeah.
there's so many people now, but there was way back in the day. There is a little place. So tell me, like, how do you find your positioning? So you were talking about all these people you keep in touch with, and is there a method to this to your madness of keeping in touch with all these people and bucketing them into
Yeah.
different things?
Yes and no. I say yes and no because naturally, I think we automatically put people in buckets. We
Mhm.
automatically think about where do they fit because it's a schema, right? It's a shortcut. If we
Mhm.
talk about, technical terms, right? It just helps us say, okay, where does this person go? But for me, I do think about that, right? I think,
Mhm.
okay, so who is this person? Where do they fit? Which one of the four places do they fit? Are they friends and family? Are they peers in competition? Are they prospects? Are they, and I guess there's a fifth one, and that's centers of influence. But I would say, they're like former customers, right? They're referral
Mhm.
sources and people that I give referrals to. So it's really mindset for me, and how intentional is that? Well, I, every day, first of all, I try my best, and I sometimes fail because Facebook fails me. We talked about this in the green
Yeah, we
room.
did.
Facebook doesn't always surface whose birthday it is or the important dates, but I try my best to find out when people's birthdays are or really important days so that I can pick up the phone and call them or I can send them a private message. I'm not lazy. I don't just write on their wall HBD, right? HBD is no BFD, if you ask me, right? No big frickin' deal. Nobody cares about that. But a personal, hey, Cami, it's been 10 years since we talked. I hope you're having a great birthday is a
Yeah.
way different message than, hi, Cami, happy birthday. You're like, yeah, okay, thanks, dude. Right? Like whatever. So that's my first intentional piece is I believe connection starts with happy birthday or insert important day here
Mhm.
with everybody, right? And that gives me once a year. And then from there, then I do have to shrink that down. I mean, it's hot customers hear from me every week, right? Hot
Mhm.
prospects hear from me every single week. From there, right, peers and competition, I want to celebrate with you. So every time you get promoted, you start a new business, you post something of value, whatever I
Mhm.
can see, I want to celebrate with you. That's intentional. I have that bucket, and then everybody else that I think about, right, that maybe I don't want to keep in touch with so much, that birthday, and then I try to do it one other day, and I take my time that I'm standing in line. I take my time that I'm in between calls that people are late to because,
Mhm.
we have grace. So I'm like, what's Cammy doing today? Oh, yeah. And I'll scroll through
Mhm.
there and I'll comment on it. And maybe if it's really interesting and I cheat like this is, right? I have a conversation.
Right.
Hey, Cammy, you want to come on my podcast? Let's have a
Mhm.
conversation. Let's talk about
Mhm.
what you're working on. And I can tell you, right, that whoop, that shrinks it in. You can know peers in
Mhm.
competition, and you can certainly do that with prospects and customers because most people, at the very worst, are going to say, wow, I'm really flattered you asked me, but I'm shy. The very best, they come on your show and they share all their good stuff. Either way, you deepen the relationship.
No, I love it. I love it so much that you're saying this because it's definitely what I'm doing here. What I've loved, I don't love the pandemic at all, but what I've liked about the pandemic is that I've been able to bring in people for Social Media Breakfast of Houston that there's no way we would have brought in any other way. And it's allowed us to have those connections, like with somebody like you and other people that we brought in like that. Actually, I had Jason Falls on my Smart Social Secrets last week. Yes. So you guys can go back and check that out. But
Yeah.
the deal is that, just being able to bring friends and people that I know from all those times and kind of reconnect. Because I mean, I think it's hard. You get going in your career and your life and you don't remember to reconnect. And what's great about peers is that if they can't do something, they often will recommend you to something. It's if they know what you do. Oh, that's another thing. But if they know what you do.
Well, that's a big hold on. That's a big thing. That's not another thing. You're like really downplaying that. That's so important, right? I
Mhm.
mean, the fact that because I bet Cammy, until we started talking about this, I bet you didn't know that I was all about sales. You're like, oh, Phil's a marketing guy like me. unless you
Yes.
saw me on
And
social,
actually,
right? I
Anne
mean,
is honest, the kind of, I don't know if she's here today but she's the one who kind of told me, she's like, you got to get Phil. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get Phil. I mean, I know you. I was like, oh yeah,
sure.
sure.
Yeah, but like what do people do? I will tell you, here's the thing, friends. If you're listening to this and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to be salesy." I want to tell you, you have to make some offers and tell people what you do. You have to, because if you don't, A, you don't get referrals, B, you don't get sales, C, you're going to watch your competition who's worse than you get business. Then you're like, "Dang it, that was mine. Why didn't they think of me?" And I will tell you, I have had people say to me, "I didn't know you did that." If you've ever heard, "I didn't know you did that,"
Mm-hmm.
you are not sharing what you do nearly enough if
Mm-hmm.
people say, "Oh, I didn't know you did that." So overcome the bashfulness of feeling salesy and understand that if you actually enjoy what you do and you're not sharing it, you're really doing a disservice to people when they need your help.
Oh my gosh, that is such gold. Okay, guys, if you think somebody else should be hearing this, make sure you share this right now. If you're wherever you're watching it, I know you guys are on YouTube. I see on Facebook. Um, Jay, oh, this is kind of funny. I'm just going to share a little bit here of the people listening in. Jay was saying she also used the Little Red Book of Sales. That's good. Um, yeah, it's awesome. And Nick is saying it's a great topic today. So that's good. So definitely share, guys, so that people come and hear this, because this is like gold, what we're talking about. Because if you can get this, if you can get what Phil is telling you, you will never have trouble with your business. I think that's the biggest thing that, like, how do you have an effortless business? How does that happen? How does that
Wow.
happen? How do you have an effortless business where you don't really have to work super hard to get your clients in the door?
Yeah. Well, that's two pieces, right? So one is building pipeline.
Mhm.
For a lot of people, they think that that's a mailing list. It's not a mailing list. I want to be really clear. I'm not telling you not to have a newsletter list. Absolutely not telling you that. But what I am telling you is you absolutely need to have a CRM and a process for doing more than just one-off conversations. You have to be intentional about it. What I discovered early on is if I don't do that, if I don't put people in my CRM, I don't keep in touch with them. If I don't keep in touch with them, I lose
Mhm.
touch. And if I lose touch, then I'm sad. And I don't want to be sad. And I mean, like literally, I love talking to smart people. I love to help
Mhm.
people. Okay, right? Peers, competition, customers, prospects. There's the
Mhm.
the four people there. So that's that's the first thing. And then the second thing is to make sure that it's more effortless is just get used to making offers. Again, not I would say not just on social. Just
Right.
posting to LinkedIn, "Hey, come to my event." That's not enough. But what I mean is now and then you send just a direct email to the
Mhm.
27 people that you've talked to that at one point had business and say, "Hey, have you reconsidered? Are you interested in having a conversation? Can
Mhm.
we see, what are you up to? What are you working on these days?"
Mhm. Ask
And
about
here's what
them.
I'm
I
working
love
on.
that.
Yeah. Ask about
Mhm.
them, be very interested in them and be really intentional about that. I mean, sales and marketing, they're full contact sports. You
Mhm.
have to be in contact. If there's no contact, marketing and sales didn't really happen. You just farted out in the wind. Doesn't help you any. I'm serious.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just clearing the air over here.
Right?
Anyway.
But people do that. "Hi, hey, over here, right? Shh, I don't really want to admit this, but I need business." No, are you kidding me? Like, come on, right? Like, share this stuff.
No, it's
So there
really
you
important
go.
that you do that. And I love celebrating other people's successes. So you were talking about your four friends and family. Let me see if I can remember. Friends and family, peers, um,
Peers and competition,
competition,
prospects, right? People that
prospects.
could do business with you,
Mhm.
and then referral sources and past customers, and maybe current customers too, right? So put those in there. If you can think about those four buckets, right? And
Mhm.
and I would even encourage you put those in your CRM, right? Put them in your CRM, and then develop a strategy around
Mhm.
that, and think about, okay, so how does that actually work?
Mhm.
How does that actually play for you? I really think you're going to be a lot better off if you do that
Yeah.
than if you don't, right? Because what happens is, you're absolutely going to forget people. You're going
Mhm.
to.
I mean, your
So
brain is
if
always, I'm terrible.
right,
So I like need you in front of me. I mean, the reason I have stacks on my desk is because I don't want to put them away and forget what I have to do, you know?
yep,
So I think most people are like that. I mean, some people are much neater, but what I'm saying is if
yeah.
you're out of sight, you're out of mind. It's just kind of true. So CRM. So we're talking about this first step still, sort of. So let's get deep on it. Like, what CRM are you using?
Well, so I use a ton of them. I right now I would say the two big ones for me. First is Nutshell. Nutshell is pretty simple. It integrates with a lot of forms, makes it fairly easy to keep up with people there. And then I'm a nimble person because I like the connection between social
Mm,
and my CRM. And then sometimes, and not right now, but sometimes I use Pipedrive as well because Pipedrive is simple. But I'll tell you, my best CRM is just an Excel spreadsheet.
yeah.
Really simple. It is not about the tool, friends. I want to be really clear. If you're hearing this, you're like, "Ooh, I better write down that tool." No, stop. Don't write down that tool. Write down the process, right? So we
Yeah.
talked about the 4 steps, right? So intake, right? Intake. The right person that I might
Mhm.
want to do business with. That could be intake. They went on my website. That could be intake where LinkedIn connections. That could be they sent me an email. That could be that
Mhm.
I identified that I want to work with them. Whatever. Intake, right? First step. Then it's discovery. Let's have a discovery conversation. Now, I don't tell people, hey, we're going to get out discovery. No, no, no. What I mean is it's an initial conversation to discover if you have any challenges that I can help you with.
Right.
Really
Or
simple. That's what
vice
discovery
versa, by
is.
the way.
Yeah, or vice versa. Yep, or yep. Absolutely. Absolutely, right? So, yep, if I can help you or you can help me,
Mhm.
fantastic, right? We discover, then we get to proposal slash demo. Now, it is possible if there is an immediate need that these could all happen on one call. It is possible, right? I can tell you, I get plenty of what's called in sales parlance a one call close. I go
Happens.
from
Yeah.
rapport to discovery to make an offer to closing the deal, right? So third one is offer or demo, demonstrate value, demonstrate knowledge and expertise, and most importantly, demonstrate that I can solve the problem. Okay, that's the
Yes.
demo phase, right?
Yes.
Demonstrate that. And then last, and let's close this with you made an offer and they said yes or they said no.
Mhm.
The closed business. Those 4 steps, and of course, there's a little bit in between there. Certainly, there's qualification, right? Is there need? But
Mhm.
I would tell you if you don't overcomplicate intake, discover, demonstrate, close. That's it. If you start there, and you can totally do that on an Excel spreadsheet, and the one thing that you want to add, just the one thing to add is what is the next step? Like, what's the next step? Just put that in a separate column. You got a little bit of those things. Then the
Mhm.
big thing is, what's the next step? Like, is it you need to send a proposal, which means it's frozen at phase, demonstrate
Mhm.
phase. That's cool. Is it stuck at, oh, we didn't get time to demonstrate any value? I had a call the other day where I did maybe too much discovery. I spent the whole 30 minutes talking to them about their challenges.
Mhm.
The great part is at the end of the call, the person said, hey, Phil, you didn't even tell me what you do. So we need to set up another call because I need to hear if we can work together. Now, not everybody's that nice.
No.
Not everybody's that nice and going to say that. So I have to be willing to say, hey, it sounds to me like we need another call because we're out of time here.
Mhm.
And that's how it works, right? Intake, discover, demonstrate, close. Really simple. In between there's other stuff, of course, right? But if you focus on those 4 steps, you can certainly win more business. And that isn't salesy. I want to be clear, right? I want to be
Mhm.
clear. Intake, building rapport. You don't like to talk to people? Okay, you should live in Antarctica with penguins. Okay, discover. Are you right? Are you not interested in people? Do you not give a
Mhm.
crap with anything about anybody but yourself? If you are, again, run for president. Okay, third, demonstrate, right? Demonstrate value. Demonstrate value. Do you not like to help people? It's not only discovering you can help them, but do you want to help them in close? Cayman, does it make sense for us to work together? Does it make sense for us to, for me to send you a contract? Does it make sense for maybe, okay, it's not me. Should I refer you to my friend Jason Falls? I mean, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. That's all you got right now. Of course, there's nuance. Duh. But if you simplify that, I'll tell you, you're going to be a lot more happy and have a much more effortless business and be a more intentional salesperson instead of an accidental business owner than if you do something else.
Right. And that's so important. What you're saying is so important. I teach a 2x2 method, like going out 15 minutes per day and talking to two people and starting two conversations. This whole method, but just like put your timer on and go out and interact with people for 15 minutes. I mean, post something, sure, but make it interactive, what you post. But, send a DM, comment on something, share something that somebody has shared and put your own little spin on it and why you think it's cool. It's going to take you so much further than almost anything. It's almost like a water faucet turns on when I do it and it turns off when you stop.
Yeah, for sure. And the great news is, to your point about 15 minutes, it doesn't take you all day. If you have the right target audience dialed in, if you know who you want to talk to, not because they follow you, but because you know who they are, you know what they do, it's way easier to say, hey, Alvin, sounds like you're having some challenges with sales, man. Does it make sense for us to have a conversation? And if it does, well, hey, let's talk. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, right? No harm, no foul here. If I didn't ask you though, if Alvin here says, beautiful way to slap me in the face, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to ignore him, he's going to find somebody else that can help him. Let's be clear, right? So don't be that guy or gal who doesn't want to really help anybody, but just wants people to beg them for that, right? You're not a charity, folks. You're running a business. Ask for the sale. Can we have a conversation? That's asking for the sale. You're always selling ideas. So sell that. And sorry, Alvin, I hope that didn't hurt too much.
Oh, yeah. He slapped himself in the face. It was good. I am going to throw these tools up, even though it's not about the tool. But like for those of you who are like, what? Here they are. You can write them down and check them out. There's others too, but this is really great. So let's go back. So we've gotten through step 1 in depth, which is that intake. So you're out there, you're talking to people, you've got your CRM in place, you're being intentional on a daily basis, not going out to sell, you're going out to learn about people and learn. And by the way, if you go out and learn about people like that, you start to hear their problems too. And then you can create like what it is that you are like, what you do, like, does it solve that problem? You really get intimate with what the people you're trying to reach, what their problems actually are. And I think that you can only do that by talking to them. That's it. But anyway, that's intake. So that's maybe discovery too, a little bit, right? So that's a little bit of the discovery.
Sure. Yeah. So, well, yep. So we kind of did the first two. Yeah. Intake is really deciding who it is you want to work with and getting them, into your CRM so that you actually are intentional. Discovery is asking those questions. Hey, here's what we're going to discover if we have a conversation together. Let's explore some possibilities. Let's see what that looks like. Let's talk about it, right? That's discovery. Asking questions, leading to the solution, not with the solution. By that, I mean, when you ask a question, right, or not, hey, are you looking for a sales coach? No. Are you struggling with your sales process? Very different conversation, right? Very different. Do you need a sales coach? No. Why is that? Right now we're adversarial. Why? Why not? Come on. Michael Jordan had coaches. Why don't you have coaches? Stop. Right? Like, back off, dude. You're way too aggressive here, buddy. So let's think about that, right?
Okay.
So, hey, do you struggle with your sales process? Do you struggle with, your marketing process? Are you failing to build awareness better? Are you struggling with a consistent way to stay in front of your ideal customers, in front of the network you've already built? Those are problems that need to be solved. So we discover that. Okay, maybe you're not. Okay, fantastic. Maybe now is not the right time, but you know what? Hey, it'd be great. Then I jump ahead to the close. You know, it'd be really
Mhm.
great is if you know someone who, or if you are ever struggling with that, you'd like to discover what it might look like that we can work together. Let's have a chat, right? Let's just keep in touch. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, great, good, good. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. Maybe we'll be friends on Facebook, whatever it is. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That's it. Right. And then in the middle of there, right in the middle of that is the demonstrating value. And I would tell you the goal is to demonstrate why it's so important that the problems that they mentioned get solved and why you might be the person that might be able to help with that. So you notice I've said things like, with many of my customers, when I'm coaching, I want you to think about I don't, it's not like I wrote that down. That's not on my piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's natural because, of course, A, I want to use relevant examples, but B, I want you to know what I do. I work with people to help them build a sales process. I coach people, right? I do this stuff. You do too, right? What is it that you do? When I'm managing social media communities, here's what
Mhm.
I do. Oh, okay. That puts in their brain, oh yeah, Cami managed the social community. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Just real simple, right? It's not pushy. It's using relevant examples in
Stories.
ways that, right, and stories, of course. That's why stories work not only for the listener, but also for the speaker. Because instead of saying, I am awesome at sales, sales is my thing, I'm great, you're like, what an ass. Shut up, Phil, right? Instead, I demonstrate that, right? And on a call,
Mhm.
you demonstrate that. Oh, you know what? That's a really good question. I hadn't considered that. One time, here's what we did. Okay, great. So we demonstrate, right? Demonstrating value, demonstrating that we understand their problems,
Mhm.
demonstrate, right? That's why we listen. I have right next to me, I have my remarkable notebook that
Oh, me
I'm
too.
always, do
What is
you?
it with you and I? We're like some kind of like little. See, look at me. I even have like a
Awesome.
cool little thing on the front that I made.
You're fancier than me. I'm looking
I
for an
sewed
orange
that
one.
myself.
Oh, look at you. That is
It's
fantastic. Wow.
pandemic. I don't know. They're
Yeah,
stuck in the house.
right? But okay, but I'm taking notes. I'm paying attention. I'm seeing if I can demonstrate that I have a solution. It might be somebody else, right? And we don't have, it's not like we have everything to share. Let me be really clear, right? What do we have? We have experience and expertise, of course. We have our network. We might have some knowledge or we might have questions. We should share those things, right? Demonstrate. I understand your problem. Maybe it's me that can solve it, maybe not. So I demonstrate, right? That's often, sadly, we jump right to that and it
Mhm.
feels like it's self-serving. So we have to do enough time in the rapport, maybe 2 or 4 minutes. Then we spend enough time in discovery that and don't just assume that you know the problem. Oh, I heard this one before, like Arnold Horseshack on Welcome Back, Kotter. Don't do that, right? Don't do that. Instead, well, what it sounds to me you're saying is,
Mhm.
oh, am I getting your problem right? If not, right, let's back up. That's okay, right? And Kirsten says, I keep a contact log with information about what they need or want. Absolutely. That's your CRM. That's your contact log, right? These are notes. They're things
Mhm.
that are important to them because here's the thing, right? Between demonstrate and close, if you don't do it on the call, people ghost. They run away from you. They say,
Right.
oh, I'm scared. I don't know. And here's the thing. If
Mhm.
somebody told you that if they don't get 10 new customers by next week, and you could get them 10 new customers by next week, you didn't tell them that, you
Mhm.
just let them go out of business, and that's on you. Instead, and I don't care how many times they ghost you, but here's what
Mhm.
most people do wrong. I'm following up, I'm checking in. Hey, I want to see if, no, here's the thing. Because you said that you need 10 customers by next week,
Mhm.
I'm checking to make sure that we made that happen because I don't want you to go out of business. Now, you might still get ghosted. I want to be really clear. You might
Yeah.
still, but it is not intrusive if you actually give them the reason why it was important to them, not to you. That is so important. You have to find out, why do they care? Why do they want you to follow up? Why is this urgent now? Most people, in fact, Cami, I think someone commented on your Facebook post about, oh, I can't make up reasons why people need to close business. Well, I can't either, right? That's garbage. That's not sales. You're a piece of
Mhm.
crap if you make stuff like that up. But
I
if you
agree.
do tell me, right? If you do tell me, Phil, if I don't buy a new sprinkler by Friday, my tree in my yard is going to die and it's going to cost me $10,000 to replace, and I could sell them a $50 sprinkler head. Do I want to be responsible for that tree dying? Do you want to be responsible for that, for costing them
Don't kill
$10,000?
trees, people.
Right? Right? Don't. Right, but I mean, really though,
Yeah.
if you found that out and you are unwilling to follow up, you should go work for somebody else, because you don't deserve your own business, right?
Mhm.
That's just garbage. So please don't think of it as, oh, I'm forcing people. No, I'm finding out why. Again, in discovery, why was it important to them? Why did they even take this call, right? That's another great question to
Oh,
ask
that is a good
people.
question.
Why, hey, I know you're really busy. Kirsten, why would you spend time with me this morning? That would be a question I would want to know.
Mhm.
And then shut up, right? That's the other thing. Then shut up. Listen, what did she say? Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't considered that. I'm really sorry to hear that. Not, wow, that's fantastic. No, that's not fantastic. I mean, that's a possible problem that you could solve. That's why they're here today, right? So I want you to think about that and perhaps consider discovering why someone actually took the time to talk to you.
Right. And I just, this is so good. Thank you. We got to the why, the quiet, the value of silence in sales. I would like you to dig into that a little bit more too, because I think it's one thing I do too. When I get super nervous, I'll start, so can you talk a little bit about like that part?
Sure. So here's the thing. Not everybody is like you and I, Cami. They don't all fill every space with noise. They don't, I mean, you know that as well as I do. They don't.
No.
So listen, right? Listen more, talk less. Yes.
Mhm.
And just be. So here's what happens. So I ask someone a question. I don't listen, and I wait. Because in my head I'm counting to 10. I'm really counting to 2,000, 1,000. Okay, so is it this? And what happens is they don't ever discover their own reasons, and they go along with you, and then they get buyer's remorse, or they get off the call. They're like, well, Phil just did not listen to me at all. All he did, he just, he thinks he knows me now, even if they have the very problem that you have solved 1,000 times. If it doesn't come out of their mouth, it never gets out of their head. If it never gets out of their head, it never leaves their heart. And then when you solve it, you're solving an on paper problem instead of an in their heart problem. And the heart of their business is, especially if you work with business owners, especially if you work with higher level executives, believe it or not, folks, they're not actually just driven by money. They actually have a purpose, a mission. Many organizations, right? They're a purpose-driven organization, but you got to connect to their heart. So here we go. I ask a question. I shut up. I listen. And it's hard because you feel that, right? Like if you're listening to that, friends, you're like, oh my God, come on, dude, spit it out. I
Yeah.
want you to think about being quiet just a little longer. Michael Bungay-Stanier, in his book, The Coaching Habit, he says, you want to be curiouser and curiouser just a little longer. So if normally you would count to 3 as fast as you do, 1, 2, 3, okay, we're done. No, stop. I want you to say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi,
Mhm.
3 Mississippi. In your head, don't say it out loud. That doesn't help. Okay. And then, oh, Cami, would you like a little bit more time to answer that? Was there something that came up with that? What questions do you have for me? Maybe I didn't ask the question right. And then shut up again. Because we have to let people process. Again, not everybody is like you and I. They don't all just jam out everything to try to fill every single gap, because for many, silence is actually thinking, not discomfort.
That is so good. One of the things that I wanted to share around that I learned, I don't know, it seems like a couple of years ago, but was this idea that when you are having a conversation with someone and you let them do most of the talking, they walk away from the conversation feeling like you are brilliant because they have been stimulated to think outside of their box or whatever it is, but they've had a good experience with their own mind, and you can facilitate that experience. I think that's really a skillful sales conversation. What do you think?
I agree 100%. That's absolutely a skillful conversation. And the more you can paraphrase back what somebody said to you, especially if you can include some exact phrasing, shows that you're a really good intentional listener and
That's
not
actually
just
why
a
I'm married.
skillful talker.
That's why I'm actually married. No, not kidding. I had my first date with my husband, and he went on and we were talking, and we met at a coffee shop, and I drank tea. And so I told him, "Oh, I drink tea," and we laughed about it. And then he went to Belgium, where he's from, and he was taking a vacation, and he came back and he brought me tea, chocolate, and like an infuser. So he remembered I like tea. He brought me chocolate, which of course, Belgian chocolate. I mean, come on. And then he told me he'd call me while he was gone. And I was thinking, yeah, right. Some guy calling me from like Europe, right? He did. He called. So I'm just saying, he did what he said he was going to do. He remembered things about me. That
And he
earned him a
closed the sale with the
and he
marriage.
closed the sale. He did a good job, didn't he?
Yeah. But really, though, isn't that what we all want?
Yeah.
Don't we all, to make a sale? If there's pain, there can be a solution. Sometimes we've already got a great life, so we want a vitamin. That's okay, but most of the time, people buy because they want less pain. They want, Nick asked, hey, do we discover pain points? Of course we do, Nick. That's an awesome question, right? Of course we discover pain points. And we do that by asking, so, tell me a little bit about what's happening. And then they share their process or they share what they're doing. And then, to your point, Nick, you followed up perfectly with, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more?
Yeah.
Right? Can you tell me more?
An
That's
easy one.
really
This is an easy
simple,
question that's like
right? I
anybody
mean,
can
are
do
you
this.
not? Yeah, are you not interested? I mean, again, if you're not interested, you got bigger problems, then you can't sell. So think about that, right? Ask those questions. Be there just like your husband did. Oh, Cammy, like he could have been, oh, I'll bring her coffee. Oh, I'm not going to call. Oh, I'll just get her any old chocolate. No, I'll tell you what likely happened is he was paying attention. He really was interested. He really knew he could help you, right? By being, the guy that he wants to, the guy that would be a great partner, right? Probably based on what you said. And then you realized, you discovered on your own, if this guy can remember to bring me tea, to bring me chocolate, and keeps his promises, well, he's worth going a little deeper with. Duh. I mean, it's the same thing, right? That's sales, friends. That's sales. Don't we all want that? Not just relationally, but business too. Keep your damn promises, friends. If you say, I'm going to get your proposal by Thursday at 5, that proposal better be in their hand by Thursday at 5. Now, I am not telling you I'm perfect. My goodness, I screw up too. Okay, I make mistakes. When I do, I eat it. Here's the message. You know what, Cami, I thought I could get that done by 5. It looks like I needed a little bit more information, but I will get that to you tomorrow by 1. And then I do everything I can to get that to you by tomorrow at 1. Keep your promises. This is not hard, right? That's part of the closing process, because if you can keep the little promises, the big things help, because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
That is so good. So true. Um, yeah, and you're right. And I think it's maybe Tracy, but it's about authentic relationship building. It is in the end of the day.
Yeah,
It's really, I
yeah,
mean, I think that's the funny thing about sales is that the best way to do sales is to not do sales in the way we think of sales, right? So I think that's really, really great. Such a great message. The other thing we were going to talk about is you had a thing that you said to me about building a network of friendlies. Can you kind of explain to me what a friendly is? And I'm assuming it's like your peers, but just could you talk a little bit about that?
sure. So friendlies, some of that is peers, some of that is competition, some of that is just referral sources. But what I would say to that is you have to feed them. You got to feed your friendlies. Now, what do I mean? Every time they do something that's worth celebrating, or unfortunately, sometimes not worth celebrating, but worth offering condolences or sympathy to, do that. Feed them. Give them a little bit of your time. Make a phone call. Send a text. Don't just be social media friendly, but be a real friendly. Be
Mhm,
private. Don't be a performative friendly. Be a
mhm,
real friendly, right? Just posting again on their wall so everybody can see that. Okay, I'll tell you again. I talked about how connection starts with happy birthday. That's how you feed your friendlies.
mhm.
Is most years on my birthday. So my birthday is December 2nd. I use Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter for business. So I have quite a few connections, if you will, quite a few opportunities for friendlies. And every year on my birthday in December, I get somewhere between 200 and 700 people that write on my Facebook wall or send me the same canned LinkedIn message or the same Twitter message or something that clearly is canned and wish me a happy birthday. I don't remember hardly any of them. The people
Mhm.
that go above and beyond, right? If I want to feed my friendlies, they pick up the phone and they sing me a happy birthday. They leave me a voicemail to let and say something that we've done together maybe in this last year. They really connect us that one time per year, and that feeds me. When I start a new business, they congratulate me like, hey, I see you started a new business. Do you need anything that I can help you with? Now, if you think about it, that's a discovery call, friends. That's a sales call. But
Mhm.
because they have also celebrated my birthday, because they're also friends with me, they're friendlies, they also now have an open door to call me and say, hey, buddy, let's have a sales conversation. Now, that's not what they say, but that
Mhm.
is really what they're doing. Hey, can I help you with anything? Now, again, sales could mean giving, sales is service. So if you're struggling with sales, replace the word with
I
service,
like that.
because some of us do, right? To sell is to serve. So if we're serving and I'm trying to help you, now we can discover how we might be able to help each other. You can pay me and I can deliver something that I'm really good at. That's exchange of value, and that's now a sale is made. So,
Mhm.
but you got to feed them, right? You got to spend some time. There's actually an article on my blog. If you go to processandresults.com/design dash your dash networking. Cami, I put a link in the private chat here because I don't
Yeah,
know
I'll
how else
grab it.
to leave it.
Yeah.
Um, this is how you can feed your friendlies. And it says get a new process every Monday. I'm in the process of redoing that. So don't worry, or maybe be disappointed. You're probably not going to hear from me this Monday, but you will hear from me soon about this. But just don't even sign up. Just read the article. Um, Here's the thing. If you are intentional about feeding your network, feeding your friendlies, as I like to call them, you absolutely have a chance to earn more business. So, and I like, yeah, Nick, does the customer move on to the delivery team and sales go to new customers? The answer is the sales team has to connect to the onboarding team. There has to be a connection because if I spent a day, a week, an hour, a minute building rapport, getting people to know, like, and trust me. And they said, yes, I'd like to write you a check. And then if all I do is, oh yeah, I'm out, go talk to Nick. Nick's your guy. They're like, whoa, 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 dude. No, I want you. Stop. My goal, just like in an introduction for a speech, I want to take the light that you've shined on me. I want to say thank you for the light, and now meet my friend Cammie. Now Cammie's in the light. Cammie is even better than me. I trust Cammie, therefore you should too. So that's how we have to connect. Let's not talk about them as onboarding people. Let's instead think of them as connecting to the next person who can help them, who will then connect to the next person who can help them. Oh yeah, by the way, our invoicing person, I'm going to connect you with her, and she's going to send you an invoice, and I'm going to get copied in, because now if you don't pay, you're going to hurt my feelings, not some anonymous invoicing person. No, you're going to hurt my feelings. This happened to me this week. I had a customer, unfortunately, and I put it on me. I said, hey, I noticed that you haven't paid your invoice yet. Did it get stuck in spam? I just wanted to make sure that you saw it. Oh, my bad. I sent it over to accounting. I'm going to follow up on that. So sorry. My fault. As opposed to a random invoicing person and never talk to you, like, yeah, screw you. I don't care. I'll get to you when I want. You want to get paid faster? Salespeople, the person who is responsible for that first relationship, own that. Take some time there. Be that person and own that process. Own that connection.
That's really good. So let's see. As we're kind of getting here, we're kind of getting to the end of the hour. So if you have any questions, dump them in right now, because I definitely want to make sure that we get to them. One more thing I wanted to talk about was referrals, and we kind of touched on it already. Getting referrals, having referrals. What is your philosophy around referrals?
I love referrals. It's how I've built most of my business my entire life. It's how I got most of the jobs I've ever got my entire life. It's also something I love to do. I love to refer people. I love to help people. I love to connect people. My big thing around that is I'm always looking for opportunities to connect people. I'm always listening, always discovering people that are having challenges, and I'm trying to connect them together, because one of the best things that we all have is other people in our network. We can't serve everybody. We can't sell everybody. So referrals matter. So sometimes we have to ask for them. Hey, Cammie, do you know anybody who blah, 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 right? Anybody who needs sales process built? Oh, great. Well, would you, and then ask, the follow-up is, would you mind making an introduction? And then here's a paragraph that you can just copy and paste, because here's the thing. You might not know exactly what I do, but if I send you a paragraph, and I always say, and of course, put it in your own words. I mean, it's better if it's in your own words. That'd be awesome. But that's not always the case, right? That's not always the case. So give that paragraph. And then when you're giving a referral, ask them, so Cammie, who would be helpful for you, and how would you best like me to make that connection? Oh, some people prefer a social media connection because that's where they're most credible. Some people prefer it in email because that's where they're most credible. I would say the best place to get that is wherever the person that is being connected, that third party maybe that doesn't know I exist, wherever they're most comfortable, because I want to be there. I want them to immediately be comfortable and immediately know that any place that they want to be, they can be with me, because I'm safe and I'm going to do my best to take good care of them. So I'll tell you, on the back of my business cards, and yeah, remember those old things, it says connect with @PhilGerb on your favorite network. Not on mine, on your favorite network, right? Phil Gerb, PhilGerb. If you slap that into just about anywhere, you're going to find me. So again, I'm here to serve. I'm not here to sell anybody. I'm here to serve you. If you find Phil Gerb, you have a question, you just ask me. It's real simple. LinkedIn.com/in/Phil Gerb. I all over the place. Phil Gerb on Twitter, Phil Gerb on Instagram. Find me. Phil Gerb on Facebook. Find me. If I can help you, right? Let me know. And that's because of you, right? Where do you want to be?
Right.
Now I'll tell you, I'm not great on TikTok. I suck at Snapchat, but that's okay. But I'll go there. No, I
You're
do
on
that
there
though,
too.
right?
I know.
But I'm there.
I am
But
too.
I'm there. Yeah, but I'm there. If you need me and you message me, I'll get an alert.
Oh, that's so good. Let me get here. So Nick asks, I think he was talking, he just all moved down very quickly. Hold on a minute.
How are we connecting online and offline?
Yes, the online and offline. Thank you very much. That's exactly what we're looking for.
So again, I listen first. I seldom will send a connection request before I have an opportunity to actually have a conversation. Many people are not as promiscuous as me on social media, so they don't feel comfortable. They feel pushed or forced to connect. So I'll do it after the conversation. What I will do though is at just about every network has a follow opportunity. I can follow, even LinkedIn. I can follow first. I can comment on their stuff first. I can listen first. I don't have to connect. I can follow. So listen first, listen often, have a conversation, and then, hey, Nick, at the end of the call, hey, Nick, would it make sense that we connect on LinkedIn so we can keep in touch and see how we can help each other? We stay connected that way. Now, with that, then I'm looking for what they're posting, not to pounce, but to have a conversation. Because I see that. I watch this. I watch salespeople, blah! No, stop.
It's so bad.
Stop. Right? It just makes you want to vomit. Slow the heck down. Slow down. It's okay. Again, right? A little silence. Hi, Nick. It was nice to see you this morning. How are you? Just shut up. That's it. Listen. Maybe Nick is shy, in which case that tells me maybe this is not the right network to connect with Nick on. Or maybe Nick's really busy. So maybe then I send an email. Hey, Nick. How are things, man? Did you want to chat sometime about sales? Shut up. Wait. Then try another channel. Most people, 12 to 15 tries before you actually get them, not because they're ignoring you, but because they're busy. Now, sometimes it's because they're ignoring you because your messages suck. I want to be clear. But most of the time, it's because they're busy. They're busy. And Eric says, how much time do you spend watching to then comment? Here's the thing. Sales Navigator and my CRM are my favorite tools. Those help me with those immediate needs. Beyond that, I use my in-between time. I'm waiting for a meeting, right? So let me see. So just for I'm not being rude, but I'm being rude, right? I'm legitimately looking at my calendar. My next meeting is at 11 o'clock. Okay, that's 30 minutes. Y'all are in Houston, so it's 10 o'clock your time, right? So here's the thing. If we get off here at 10:50 and I don't need to prep for my next meeting, then I've got 10 minutes to now comment and to do things, right? To feed my friendlies. I've got 10 minutes. I've got space in between because my time was already booked, or I'm waiting in line. I'm going to get my second shot today for my vaccine. I know I'm going to have time right then to send some messages. Okay.
Well, I know
take
you have
that
15
time
minutes afterwards because there's 15 minutes you have to wait.
Yeah, right. But so I at least have 50 minutes, probably 30 minutes before, right? Because they're not fast, of course, right? So that's an hour that I have time to feed my friendlies. That's right, Jika. You got it, right? That's the whole goal here. So Eric, that's an awesome question. The answer is the time in between. And then I probably schedule, 30 minutes 3 times a week to do that. But a lot of it is just that margin time. But I'm intentional about it, right? This isn't accidental. If you're a new connection and I think we can do business, you're going to my CRM, we're going to have a chat. I'm going to find time. We're going to move here. Timing might be bad. It might not be for 6 months. But chances are, if you reach out to me because you heard something I said, you're probably interested in at least a conversation.
Absolutely. So, wow. Okay. So we are at the hour. So I want to make sure that I'm.
Holy snap, huh?
I know. It went fast. It went really, really fast.
I've still got 80 slides to share. Hold on, Cammie. I got 80 slides to share.
I told you no slides. No slides. Something that I do want to say though is that if you're here still and you're in the chat, could you please like put the one takeaway that you got from this in the chat for us? I just want to see all of the takeaways. We're going to put this together into a blog post for sure and put this out fairly soon. So and of course the replay is up. So make sure you share this, because I think people get the wrong idea about sales, and I think that's why I wanted to have you, Phil, because you're very good at like outlining that it's about relationships. It's about connections. It's about feeding those connections. And that's actually what Jeffrey Gitomer did to me too. I mean, that's what the little red book of selling was. So awesome. And Nick says orange sells. So funny.
Woohoo! Awesome. What are you buying, Nick? What are you buying?
Yeah, what are you buying? So one of the things I do want to let you know is our next thing coming up. We've been doing these coffees, Phil, on the fourth Friday of every month. And these are on Zoom. So this is where we will come together and you guys can talk. So I say something usually at the beginning. I usually share something new that's happening in social media, like changes in algorithms or whatever it is that's happening that month. But then we go into sharing. So people can share what they've learned. And then we go into breakout groups. So you can actually network, kind of like the olden days when we used to meet in person. It's crazy. I don't know. Also, I want to let you know in next month, we're having Amanda Tonto, and she's coming to talk about Google My Business and how you can use Google My Business. It's a really underutilized tool. I have one, so definitely you want to check into that. And then in July, we are going to have our first in-person meeting, Phil. We're going to be meeting at the Houston Arboretum. And we're going to be doing a photo walk, and there's going to be a photo contest and everything. And we'll be outside, so it'll be fun in the morning. We'll have coffee. You probably have to make your own food situation happen. Bring a bar. I don't know, whatever. She also said you can bring your own cup. So like you can fill up your, you don't have to, hurt the environment. So that's cool. So we've got a lot coming up in the next couple of months. So stay tuned. We have a calendar where you can get all of this stuff. I don't know if Tracy could quickly just post that and I'll pull it up here. But I have a calendar where all the upcoming professional development is. And I'm using this service called Ad Event. And what's cool about Ad Event is you can pull it up and then you can put it on your calendar. So then it'll remind you and it'll have the links and it's good stuff. So
cool.
There you go. So those are all the things. And also, if you are looking for a job or you have a job, we do have a thread on the Facebook page for jobs. So some people have already put like some internships there. So if you have jobs right now, let's help each other out because people are looking for jobs. And a lot of you I know are looking for people to work for them. So definitely put your jobs in there. I think that's all of my announcements. Is there any last words you have for us, Phil, as we kind of, tie this into a nice bow?
Sure. So let me kind of rediscover some of the stuff we talked about, right? So make sure that you know who you want to talk to, right? Figure out your target. Get dressed before you get busy, right? Wear your orange sport coat or whatever it is that works for you. Really important, right? Have a simple sales process. We went through the 4 steps of that. Really important. And then remember that to sell is to serve. But you have to ask and make some offers or nobody's ever going to be able to say yes. And with that, make sure people know what you do because referrals are the best way to build business.
Okay, nobody can say anything more than that. Yay! Everybody clap, 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 clap. Awesome. I really appreciate everybody being here. Definitely share this with your friends.
Thank you.
And thank you, Phil, so much for coming. Make sure you get in touch with Phil. Again, he's Phil Gerb at everything, everywhere. It's easy. You just start and then you put his name and it pops up. You were like one of the easiest persons to tag. Thank you very much for being easy to tag. And all the promos. Yep, it's good. Awesome. Yeah. So, good, Kika. This is good.
Yay!
Okay. All right, guys, have a great day. And let me know if you have any questions. You can definitely, message me anywhere you see this video right now. So message me and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you need them. And thank you so, so much for everybody. Okay, great. We've got I'm just going to do all the little claps. Clapping, clapping. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Phil. Sis Felicia. Thank you. Oh, sales jobs. Woohoo. Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.